So in the meantime, the people who are joining, I would like people to give a short intro of their self in the comments, right? From which college and year. I think that will help the speakers to at least guide you according to the year you are in, the college you are in, right? So you can just let us know in the comments which year you are in currently, and we'll be starting in another minute. Sure. There are a few folks. Okay. Prathamesh, third year mechanical from Maharashtra. Awesome. Anyone else? Just you can just let us know which year you are in, right? So that I can take up the questions, even the suggestions accordingly. And I would also like you guys to ask any question that you have in the comments, right? Oh, hey, Javed. Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's start, right? So hi everyone, I'm Sudhanshu. I'm the co-founder of Qubit Tech, and we have with us three guests, Jyothsna, Aman, and Anurag. These are our front-end wizards. They got internships through us, and they are really good at front-end, right? And they are here today to share their experience, their journey, and what they've learned during this journey, and share that experience with you, with all of you. So you guys can give a short intro of yourself, right, one by one. Maybe Aman, you can go first. Yeah.
Thanks, Sudhanshu. Hi everyone, this is Aman Chopra, and currently I am in my junior year, third year and I'm pursuing BTech in Computer Science from UEM Kolkata, that is University of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. Uh, and right now I'm in a front-end developer, as Sudhanshu said, in GagaHealth. So I've got this opportunity from Qubit only. So thanks to Qubit for providing me such a great platform.
Awesome.
And I'm also Munstack developer, mentor, trainer, community leader, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, thanks. That was my short
Cool.
intro.
Yeah, cool, Aman. Yeah, Jyotsna, maybe you can give a short intro.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Jyothsna Ashok. I'm in my second year ECA from MIT Manipal, and I'm currently a front end developer at UpFlux.
Awesome. Yeah. Anurag.
Hello everyone, my name is Anurag Pandey. I'm a pre-final year undergraduate student from IIT Kharagpur, and I've got two internships from Kuwait. First one was at ITMTV Technologies, and the second one, which I'm currently doing, is at FloWorks.
Okay. Awesome. So cool. So that's a great start. Let's just dig deeper into it. So I would like to go ahead with a question. So each one of you, I would like to understand what all things that you have done, right, to get this internships, or to become a front end developer. So each one of you, one by one, can share their thoughts, the same order maybe, or in different order if you guys like. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with me, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, to start the journey for the front-end developer,
Hmm.
firstly, everyone should be familiar with the basics like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Like it's like the very basic thing, and then you can pick up your language, not language as a framework. React, Angular, according to the industry. So React was very much popular and is nowadays. So I was in like second year. Then I picked up the React to start with the internship. Actually, I got an internship with my college senior only,
Hmm.
and there only I started learning the React. तो
Hmm.
तब से मेरी जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई कि हाँ रिएक्ट को एक्सप्लोर करते हैं, रिएक्ट क्या है मैंने जाना. बट तब तक आई वॉज लाइक वेरी मच फैमिलियर विद द HTML, CSS एंड द जावास्क्रिप्ट. लाइक आई वॉज वेरी मच प्रोफिशिएंट विद इट. तो
Hmm.
फिर रिएक्ट मैंने स्टार्ट किया, मैंने पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया, तब मुझे पता चला ओके ओके सो टू मास्टर द फ्रंट एंड वी ऑल्सो हैव टू लर्न अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स.
Right. True.
मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि लाइक you just read the HTML and yeah, it's like in the school days. No, you have to learn a lot, and you have to dive deep dive into the the framework that you are learning. तो
Right.
React में भी बहुत सारी चीजें तो मैंने सीखी. Then I applied those, and I have done like 3 internships previously using the same the React, and then I got this opportunity from Qubit platform in the GagaHealth. So yeah, this is like a new industry for me, like a health industry. Previously, I worked for as like a community member, like a community industry it was, and then as a startup for notes, not as ed tech startup, you can say that. So yeah, this was pretty much.
So, Aman,
Hmm.
what all things that you did? I mean, did you? What is the journey like? Right? What different that you think that you have done to get this internship that a lot of people are lacking?
So see, to get a proper internship, one thing that I consider like the best thing to explore the projects. Like you should be doing some more and more projects so that you get an idea about that tech stack. And companies आज के time में prefer those people only जो those have done those projects in particular stack. Just like React, तो मैंने React में मैंने projects बनाई है, तो मैं जानता हूँ कि how the React state works, how the state management is, what is Redux and its other components. तो obviously company will prefer me over other candidates क्योंकि I know the stuff and the company will not have to teach me or to provide any kind of training. तो बेटर होगा आप पहले प्रोजेक्ट्स पे अपने ध्यान दो, ट्राई टू डू सम एडवांस नॉट एडवांस लाइक इंटरमीडिएट लेवल प्रोजेक्ट्स, मेक दोज and try to do, एक I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. एक ट्विटर पे एक बहुत ट्रेंड चला था लर्न बाय डूइंग.
Yeah.
तो जैसे जैसे आप सीखते जाते हो वैसे वैसे करते जाओ उस चीज को, ट्राई टू इम्प्लाई ऑल योर लर्निंग्स इनटू अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट. So suppose if you have learned a new thing like authentication stuff, so try to build an interface, try to build a login thing and implement those authentication and whatever the things you have learned. So if you will do such things, you will definitely get proficient with that. और मैंने भी actually यही किया. I keep doing things, started exploring some new websites, like especially the cred. I like मतलब मुझे cred का डिजाइन obviously सबको पसंद होगा, इतना उन्होंने ब्यूटीफुली बनाया है.
Yeah.
तो वो डिजाइन्स कैसे बनते हैं और भी वेबसाइट्स एंड टेम्पलेट्स आई स्टार्टेड एक्सप्लोरिंग. तो
Right.
उनसे भी यू गेट द डिजाइन आइडिया बिकॉज यू आर फ्रंट एंड डेवलपर. तो आपको न्यू डिजाइन्स मार्केट में जो आ रहे हैं वो सब आपको पता होना चाहिए वो कैसे बन रहा है. ट्राई टू इम्प्लीमेंट दोज थिंग्स.
Right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
these things will make easier stuff.
Interesting aspect, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Jyothsna, what is your journey like? Like, what did you do? What did you do different? Right? And what do you think are important aspects that everyone should focus, while preparing for a front-end developer role?
Right. So, like everyone, Mera bhi journey started from school. We had HTML in school, so I kind of got introduced to the whole part of HTML, CSS, and then eventually I was also into graphic designing. So, in a way, I kind of got in design intuition, which is like one of very integral skills for a front end developer. You don't need to be a very good designer, but एक aesthetic sense आ जाता है after you try out stuff. कुछ नहीं, you don't even need to do anything. Just take up an already designed page, try to design it on Figma. See how stuff works. So I got a design perspective from there. And then last year when I was in my first year of college, I used to make static web pages initially using pure HTML, CSS and vanilla JavaScript. And then I got introduced to React, which for most people is the first framework they kind of try to do. And then I did projects in there. I also participated in a hackathon. So I feel like hackathons are a very good way to a kind of pressurized environment may you work, so you can test your limits. But I would not suggest a hackathon for very complete beginners, because you won't be able to try to complete the code. So after you've done a little bit of stuff, a little bit of projects, you know how stuff works, you can maybe try to take part in a hackathon. And in that way, you will have a problem statement. So you don't have to think more about your project. You can think about the implementation.
Right.
And uh, like that, make impactful projects, make projects that might help people as well. They add a lot of value to your resume as well, and recruiters like seeing ki, okay, you did something which is impactful, which will help the society or maybe people or
Mm,
stuff like that. And yeah, so that was kind of my journey of what I did.
mm.
And now in my second year, and I just started applying for front end internships at QED, and I got it in like 1 month itself. So yeah.
Cool. Cool. That's pretty interesting. Anurag, I would like to understand from you too, like what is your experience like? What is your journey like? When did you started, software development, and how did you know that, front end is something that excites, and what all steps that you took?
So I started my journey 1.5 years back when me and my friends were exploring things. So we all decided that we should do web development.
Mm,
So we picked up a course from Udemy and we started doing it. And the peer pressure thing worked there, and we all did completed the course quite earlier. So
mm,
this is a thing I would like to recommend everyone.
mm,
And along with that, uh, after completing the course, I tried to make some random projects.
mm,
Suppose this random idea comes to my mind,
mm,
and I keep on building upon that. Like I
mm,
would add this features and this feature and this feature. Like I've seen many people's having to-do application as their project, and it is a common project. And interviewer or the hiring person would not prefer that person over other persons because it is a common project. So
yes.
I believe doing a project which is a different of kind
Mm,
is useful.
awesome.
Uh, and also including different technologies or different libraries in your project also helps. Like I created a project on React Native,
Mm,
and yeah, my interviewer saw that I have also an experience in creating mobile apps. He
mm,
was excited about hiring me.
mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So, what is the starting point for you? Like, how did you started learning front end, right? And what is your profile structure? Like, how many projects that you did? How many internships? Like, did any internships in the past before getting this one? So, what is it the experience like?
So my first internship which I got was from Kuwait. It was at ITMTB Technologies.
Okay.
So uh, I had few projects, one or two projects during that,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, that helped me to get that. Kuwait helped me to get that internship.
Okay.
Although I was rejected in many companies, but rejection is a part of learning, right?
Yeah. So how
So
many companies did you applied in, and how many times did you get rejected, and then finally shortlisted and then interviewed and selected? What is the ratio like number?
I it was I applied for almost 8 to 10 companies, and I finally got in the ninth or tenth, whatever it was.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So I think it's very it's an average number that we have also found, like around 8 to 10 is a sweet spot where people usually find. But I would also like to, I'm curious about the journey, your starting point. How did you started, and what did you do at the very beginning that gets you started in front end development? What courses that you picked, and then how did you? So I know about the project, like you got the ideas and then you created projects. But how did you learn the basics? Because a lot of people are stuck at that point.
Uh, I started with the freecodecamp.org. They had some great walkthrough tutorials and all. So I started with that, and those courses taught me the basics, that HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Mm,
And further on when I began with React, I heard that React is a popular library used, although it is released in 2015, but still it was the most popular library today, a framework. So I began learning that on Udemy. There was a course. There are many courses of Angela and
mm.
uh,
Yeah, there is
others.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started with that, and the my first internship also helped me in learning a lot. Like
Mm,
uh, Doing an internship, I believe, if increases your
Learning
learning
curve.
curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, true. No, I mean that is so true. A lot of things that you learn when you actually do an internship, right? There are mentors,
Yeah.
there are situations that you cannot create on your own, right? Uh,
Yes. Yes.
that you only get when you do an internships. So awesome. So what are like your numbers, Aman and Jyothsna, that how many places that you guys have applied and then get shortlisted, rejected, and then all this stuff.
So yeah, I applied to 5 places and I fortunately got selected in one of them.
Okay.
So yeah, I was recommended for like 2 other, but I think the company didn't get back to me. So yeah, that also happens sometimes,
Yeah.
but that's all part of the process.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. Uh-huh. Yeah, Aman. So what is your category?
Yeah, so I applied for like almost 7 to 8 companies,
Uh-huh.
got recommended for 3 to 4, luckily, and got selected on only one, GagaHealth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. So I think all three of you, like all of you guys have applied for less than 10 internships, right?
yeah,
And that's a very interesting aspect because I have received requests from some students that I have applied for 30 internships but still didn't get any replies. I got rejected for 25 of them, something like that. So like how do you guys plan that you have applied for only 7, 8, or 9 internships and and get recommended and then shortlisted? What is that secret ingredient that you guys have?
okay, so if I can start,
Yeah.
it's not an actually a secret ingredient. Okay, it's basically like before applying to any particular internship, firstly go through the description that they've provided,
Hmm.
and then check out with your tech stack that you are proficient with, that you are familiar with, एंड अपने में
Hmm.
सोचो ना कि आप वो कर सकते हो कि नहीं। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि
Hmm.
गागा हेल्थ या बाकी सब जिन जिन में मैंने अप्लाई किया था उनमें जो जो डिस्क्रिप्शन लिस्टेड थे आई नो
Hmm.
एवरीथिंग ऑफ दैट, नो दैट वाज नॉट द केस। देयर वर 2 and 3 stacks or 2-3 some applications that I was not familiar with, but मैंने सोचा कि हाँ 90% इनमें से मैं जानता हूँ and I can learn 10% of them. So yeah, that's why that was the thing that I have kept in my mind, and on the basis of that I have applied for you know 8 to 10, 7 to 10 companies. No need of bulk applications. उतना bulk में
Awesome.
आपको अप्लाई करने का कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है। डिस्क्रिप्शन देखो,
Hmm.
फैमिलिटी देखो, अगर आपके क्राइटेरिया से मैच करता है तभी आप अप्लाई करो।
Awesome.
सिंपल।
Awesome. Anything different that you guys did? Other people, Jyotsna and Anurag?
Yeah, so one formula I always used to see was her internship में there are tech skills mentioned, right? Check your profile because whenever you apply to an internship, there is no other way other than your profile to maybe shortlist you, recommend you, or reject you,
Right.
right? If the people who are sorting people out for internships, they see that one of your skill isn't there, which is required for the job, then
Mhm.
there is a high possibility that you will get rejected, which is what happened with one of the jobs I applied, right?
Mhm.
So after that I got a lesson that okay, whichever job I'm applying to, I'll check their skill set, whatever they require,
Right.
and if that matches my profile, the profile I've made, then I'll apply to it, or else I'll pass the opportunity, because
Mhm.
mass applying won't help you unless your profile is actually suitable for the internship. So the secret to getting recommended is try to apply to companies which match your profile.
Awesome. Awesome. Anurag, anything different any other secrets?
Yeah, the one thing I faced the problem was the year of graduation. So Kuwait mentioned the year of graduation with the company that they require. मतलब
Okay.
उनका ऐसा फिक्स होता है 2021. So initially I applied and I didn't look up for that, but later on I received a message that year of graduation didn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should keep those factor in our mind.
Right. 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 So basically, yeah, I got the point. So I think, yeah, when we are also
वन
analyzing,
मोर थिंग दैट आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड सुधांशु,
go ahead.
सॉरी, या तो एक पॉइंट और है जो मतलब बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स इन द अर्ली स्टेजेस दे मिसेस आउट कि दैट अप्लाइंग यूजिंग द सेम रेज्यूमे फॉर एवरी इंटर्नशिप, यू डोंट हैव टू डू दैट।
Yeah.
हर इंटर्नशिप का क्राइटेरिया अलग होता है, उसमें प्रोजेक्ट्स लिस्टिंग के तरीके अलग होते हैं, टू डिस्क्राइब योर प्रीवियस वर्क एक्सपीरियंस वो अलग होते हैं. तो या ये चीज़ भी कीप इन माइंड दैट मेक एवरी रेज्यूमे अदर, लाइक मतलब सबका अलग अलग रेज्यूमे बनाओ. अगर एक पोजीशन के लिए या अलग अलग पोजीशंस के लिए एक ही रेज्यूमे को पास ऑन मत करते जाना. ये मैंने भी गलती की थी, तो फ्रॉम माय एक्सपीरियंस आई एम टेलिंग यू.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
So let's pick one question. Someone asked, can you suggest some entry projects based on front end for getting intern position, as I'm applying for last 15 days, but most of the companies are rejecting me again and again. So I think someone is asking for entry projects that they can begin with, um, and how to get an internship, I think, in a broader sense, right? Yeah, I think, can you suggest what should we include in our project for getting job? So I think anyone can pick up, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, and then I guess Aman also has something to say. So yeah, one thing which you should think about including in your project, don't make it entirely a front end project, because when you're working in a company, you have to kind of collaborate with the back end people who are working there as well, right? So kind of try to incorporate the back end. Firebase use kar lo. You don't need to make a MongoDB database for it. You can just use Firebase, but kind of try to integrate basic CRUD operations into your app, so that you have a feel of how things work, because ultimately you will have to integrate. Backend people will write the APIs for you, but you will have to integrate how it works and how it sends requests, right? So one thing you should try to do is a CRUD application. CRUD, for those who don't know, create, read, update, and delete, right? So these are four basic processes in any application. So try to incorporate this, so that you will have high chances of getting an internship, because people will see okay, you know how to collaborate with the backend, so you might be an asset. That's my
That's pretty interesting insight.
advice.
Yeah. So anyone else like to add anything, like Anurag or Raman? Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I like that. जैसे ज्योत्सना ने कहा,
Hmm.
CRUD application is really a good project you can include in your resume. Plus, you can include like some clones project which are like really popular these days, Amazon clone, Netflix clone kind of stuff.
Right.
But apart from this, the best project that I believe is your portfolio website.
Hmm.
Matlab, in the portfolio website, you include all your projects, you can include all your journey, all your other stuff that you are doing right now. And it's kind of, your whole summary, and that too in a project sense. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Like मेरे लिए भी अच्छा, and the one who is hiring me, वो भी मुझे एक project के sense में देख सकता है, and he can know me better.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Awesome. Anurag, any points? Any points for the entry journey?
Yeah, the one thing is कि जब भी प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हो तो ऐसे एक होता है यूट्यूब ट्यूटोरियल्स से डायरेक्ट कॉपी पेस्ट करना, तो अवॉइड दोज थिंग्स. उसे तुम कभी ऐसे बेसिक्स लर्न नहीं कर पाओगे. और इंटरव्यू में व्हेन दे आर सीइंग योर प्रोजेक्ट दे माइट आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. So yeah, you might get into trouble that at that point of time. So
Yeah. I think I can totally relate with this stuff. So we have started our first cohort, which is a full stack cohort, right? And when we started, so in that we tried to avoid, teaching a lot of stuff, live coding wala thing that you're mentioning. That happens on YouTube. That a lot of people, they just teach, they just write code, and people, just screen by screen just start typing it, right? It's not
yes, yes,
as
yes.
and like 4 or 5 people, we understand the same thing, and we ask questions just outside that project, right? Similar to that stuff, they got stuck, right? Because there was no learning actually, because you didn't use your brain to create those stuff, right? You just typed it out, right? So I think it's a really insightful point, and we try to avoid that in our first cohort, which is on full stack. So cool. Someone asked, like, I'm a both front-end and back-end developer, right? Second year, won hackathons too, like Jyothsna mentioned, did freelancing projects too. My projects include Netflix clone, social media app, and one NGO website, but I keep getting rejected, right? What should I do, right? So if you guys are in this situation, what would you do?
Okay,
Uh,
honestly, like if anyone is there in the Qt Discord, there is a very great feature they have, that is profile review. And I would highly recommend anyone who is constantly getting rejected to get their profile reviewed once, so that even if you have like amazing projects, the way you put it out on your profile, that also matters,
Right.
right? So I think the profile review thing is a great initiative by Qt.
Awesome. Cool. Anurag, Aman, any pointers?
yeah, I think there might be an issue during the interview. So you guys should practice giving mock interviews with your friends. That helps a lot. That helped in my case as well.
Mhm.
I got stuck in the interviews and I panicked a lot. But I gave many mock interviews with my friends, and it helped me a lot to clearly say what I mean and all of those stuff.
Right. Right. Cool. Aman, any pointers you are adding?
No, I guess +1 to both Anurag and Jyothsna.
Awesome, awesome. So there is another question. I think I would pick this one. Someone is asking like, pass out students should look for internship or full-time job, right? So I have received multiple questions like this. So we have a WhatsApp group where I kind of answer the questions where people ask. So it's a Qubit mentor all this stuff. So if you are graduated, right, and you have not done any projects or internships, right? So keep trying for jobs, but I think internships are a great starting point to start any career, right? Internships are very low barrier to get into, right? And if you perform well, right, then it will convert into full time. So if you are a graduate, I would suggest do some internships, get some industry exposure if you have not done yet. Right? That will eventually help you get a job. But looking directly for a job, it can get tricky. So this is my 2 cents. Someone said, can you suggest what should we include in our projects for getting shortlisted? I mean, if I take an example of building a website clone, then it should have a login authentication, great UI design, payout checks, etc. Yeah, I think you guys can pick it up. Like, what should they include in the projects to get shortlisted? What are the things to note, right, when writing a project? Yeah.
So the project should include navigation, and the sign up and login should be there. And yeah, there should be API request in the project.
Mhm.
Further, the project should be responsive. Like I recently, a month back when I was giving an interview, they asked whether my website was responsive or not. So nowadays, mobile websites are a bit popular.
Mhm.
Yeah, these things that I can count.
Awesome. Cool. Aman, Jyotsna, what do you suggest? Like, what are the areas that someone should focus on when writing their projects, right? What pointers?
See, that actually depends on type of a project. If I'll talk about a clone project,
Mhm.
definitely as Anurag said, it should have a sign up and a login page.
Right.
Uh, yes, it can have as a payment gateway also if it
Mhm.
includes. So you will get a like how the payment gateway works. You will get an idea that also, and you can also include like how the try to implement little bit of backend also.
Mhm.
It's fine that if you're a front end developer, but try to get an idea of little bit of backend. Don't try to use some cloud base like Firebase and AWS. Obviously you can use that, but if you will include little bit of that, it will give a like a fine touch
Mhm.
in your project, and it will look good that yeah, he's willing to learn, he's he loves to explore things and kind of stuff. तो वो भी एक better message जाएगा कि recruiter को कि हाँ ये
True.
बच्चा है, सीख सकता है, पढ़ सकता है, कर सकता है, इसको मन है आगे कुछ करने का. तो these kind of things helps. And definitely APIs use करो क्योंकि APIs भी आजकल बहुत सारी डिमांड में. You can
Mhm.
build projects using just APIs also. Okay, तो ऐसे बहुत सारी projects आपको YouTube में भी मिल जाएगी तो
Mhm.
जिन्होंने सिर्फ APIs यूज करके बनाई है. तो
Right.
या those kind of projects are also popular. And resume में सारे चीज को point out mention कर दो.
True.
जो जो चीजें न्यू चीजें यूज करी जैसे लॉगिन, तुम लॉगिन को किससे यूज कैसे बनाए कैसे यूज किया, point-wise mention code. Then APIs, what APIs you have used, what kind of payment gateway you have used. So yeah, definitely will get the chance.
Interesting. Jyothsna, are you curious to say something? You want to?
No, no, no. I think Anurag and Aman, kind of
Okay.
covered up everything. So yeah.
So yeah, I think I have 2 pointers, right? What I have observed from a lot of, so I think till now I have reviewed more than 1,000 profiles on our platform. So what I've observed, one or two common pattern that a lot of students make mistake with, they do not describe their projects properly, right? A lot of students I have observed, they just write 2 or 3 pointers, right? So if someone has built, let's say, a to-do list, what they will write in description, what I have observed is React.js HTML. The other pointer is to-do list, right? The last pointer is GitHub and communication skill. This is not a description, right? So you need to describe what you've actually built, right? And to write better descriptions, we have added on the platform 3 questions, right? If you answer those 3 questions, like what is the aim of what you have built, right? The project that you built. What did you learn in that, and what are the important features that you have built? If you can just answer these 3 points, very good, right? So that is one thing that people lack. Another thing is we've added things like you can add skills, right? A lot of students, they do not add skills, so this is like a very big issue. They just enter the project description but do not enter any skills. So if you enter skills, the person who is evaluating you, they just skim through the skills. Usually when I also review, I review the skills. If it fits well, I just go ahead to the next step. So okay, cool. Project suggestions. So any project suggestion? As we nowadays most people make travel website, food ordering websites that company will see. Yeah, I think project suggestion, what Anurag has mentioned and Jyothsna and Aman has mentioned at the very beginning, right? Think through, create new projects, right? Hackathons are a good way, like Jyothsna mentioned. I want to do backend internship. I'm done with Oops and Core Java. What should I do to increase my chances of getting internships? Any comments? So someone
Yes,
wants to do a backend internship. Yeah.
and he's curious about the Java. Okay, so yeah, definitely try with the projects, make some CRUD applications, try Java Swing, try to implement some backend stuff. Okay, try to make some big projects like library management or student management systems or these kind of projects, because if you will build such kind of projects, you will eventually explore a lot of new things in Java. And for the like, if you're interested in like backend internship, try to, just like I'm a month tech developer, so I do most of my backend stuff with the Node.js and the Express. So try to implement those things with the Java things. That will actually help you to get internship as a backend engineer. That's simply just change the stack and implement those kind of projects only. Nothing new.
Okay. Jyotsna, Anurag, any other pointers?
I wouldn't say, because I don't have like a lot of experience with Java, so I might not be the right person to answer that question.
Good.
Yeah.
The same goes with me. I don't have any experience in Java.
Okay, awesome. Very. So someone has asked, how did you decide which company to apply for? I mean, what are the factors that we need to consider before deciding to apply? Apart from skills, they mentioned. Right? Apart from skills, what do they need to look at to apply for any company? What do you guys think?
You know,
Money they are offering.
Sorry?
Money they are offering.
yeah,
How
the
much money?
stipend is an important part, but also the field the company is,
Mhm.
I think, because I wouldn't want to work for something I don't personally relate to. I mean,
Mhm.
that's personally for me. It might not be applicable for everyone, but
Mhm.
this is something the one I'm working right now, I feel with the cause. So I think that is one thing I see when I'm applying for a job or
Right.
an internship.
Awesome. Awesome. So what do you guys, the Anurag and Aman, what do you guys look one internship or 2 3 projects? Medium range could be something between 12 to 20,000, right? If you have done one internship, about 20,000 is the range where you need to play. I mean that's what I have observed. A lot of people convert. Cool. So another question. I'm a front-end developer. I know Python as well. Won a few hackathons. I'm in my first year. So what are the chances at internships? Yeah, senior people tell them what are the chances?
The chances are quite high. Just create some projects and build a proper resume for just to showcase your skills. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier that you should host your project as well because during the interview, the interviewer wants to see your project. And locally hosted projects, I don't think they prefer. They would ask for if you have hosted it or not.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's it.
So any other funda from senior to first year people? Yeah.
No, not at all. I guess Anurag has said a lot for the
Yeah,
Yes.
I
focus to
think
build
if you
projects.
have one,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have one at hackathons, I think you already have like projects with you. So just showcase them properly, write
Yeah.
down whatever you did, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, from statistics point of view, if I have to tell you how many people from first year, second, third, and fourth year get an internship, the people from first year, the percentage of people who get internship in their first year is very equal to the people who get in final year. That's the statistics that is happening on the platform. So the chances are pretty high. So I think there is no point getting demotivated. So I think Shreya, who has mentioned this comment, already has a lot of badges to show in the profile. Cool. Acha, there is an interesting question someone asked, Jitto. So in most of the criteria of an internship, they say about agile development and other industry related coding practices. How to improve on that and where to learn all? Like, I mean, a lot of people ask agile development, right? You should know GitHub, uh, right? So how did you guys ever face this issue and how did you guys come up with a solution?
I'd say one of the most important parts of agile development would be documentation of your code. So
Yeah.
whenever, even if you're making a personal project, even if only you have the code, document it, because if you know, it has happened with me. If after 6 months I go back to one of my projects I did and read through my code, sometimes I don't understand why I did this thing, right? So properly document your code. And other than that, GitHub, even if it's a personal project, keep it private and host it on GitHub. By this you learn how to manage committing. And maybe if you're working with someone else, both of you can contribute to the same repository, so you know if you have a merge conflict, how to resolve it. These are some of the skills which are very necessary when you're working with a team of people. So yeah, that would be something I'd suggest to do.
Awesome. Interesting. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other funda?
The one thing I think is we should have a team project because company wants to see whether I have a team working, I have experience in working as a team or not. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I had one project and I was questioned that what I did and how did we collaborated and
Mhm.
all.
Interesting. Interesting point. Anything, any other aspects that you have explored, Aman?
No, I guess Anurag and Jyothsna both.
Okay, cool. What I have observed, one point is, I think Jyothsna covered it well, but there is one point. So apart from documentation, there is a standard coding practices, right? So a lot of people confuse between when they are coding for competitive programming or DS algo versus when they are coding for creating a project. The standard coding practices are what are followed in software development. So if you want to create a variable, it should be written in camel case. If you want to create a class name, all those kinds of naming conventions, indentation, linting, all these kinds of things which are at the core of any product development, right? Those are an important aspects. When I review code of people, I usually look at those areas, right? Versus when you do a competitive programming or DS algo, um, you just have to make it time complexity very very good, right? You just need to execute it very fast. So the variable name could be a b c there, but if you have to create a software product, the naming convention should have a meaning. If you are naming a variable as name, it should ideally be a name of an entity. So this is one of important stuff. Awesome. So I think we've answered most of the question. Guys, if you have any further questions, just ask it very, very quick. It's already been a very, very long time. We'll just wrap it up in next 2-3 minutes. So just waiting. If anyone has any question, we'll pick it up. Okay, no question. So I'll ask one question. I want to understand one question. So as a front end developer, what do you think is more important? Writing logical code or creating highly designs, creating good designs.
I feel that it should be somewhere in between. You don't have to be very good at design, or you don't have to, just give up on design and write only logical code. So, find kind of a sweet spot between. Have, you don't need to make a project where you don't even understand how the, page works, right? So UI UX is a very integral part in development, but at the same time, you need to write logical code for the execution of stuff that's happening, right?
Right.
So it should be somewhere in between.
Okay, very well diplomatic answers. Very well answered. Yeah. Any other views, guys? Any other personal opinions?
I believe that we should focus more on the logic part. Like if we are keeping our code more structured and all, if some other person comes to work on the same code, it
Mhm.
would be helpful for him to work on that code. Like if we that the thing which you mentioned, the camel case and the naming
Mhm.
the variables according to their functions really helps.
Awesome. Interesting. Okay. I think there is another question. Is it good to learn AWS and all AWS and deployment and everything as a front end developer? What are your views?
Yes, I believe it is important, and it will be good for your resume also, for resume point also, and for skills also. If you will learn some cloud technologies, cloud are like really popular these days.
Mhm.
So if you have a cloud as a technology, as a as a your skill set, it will be a plus point, as a plus factor. It will work. Okay, so yeah, it's not like recommend you go for AWS. You can learn Firebase also. Like it's a very easy thing to learn in the beginning. So you can learn Firebase. You can learn Azure also. Azure is also very beginner friendly.
Mhm.
I like AWS is very easy to learn, but I will not say AWS is beginner friendly. Azure and Firebase is beginner friendly. So better go for those. But if you're already familiar with the clouds and other stuff, go for the AWS. And yeah, it will be good if you learn cloud technologies as a front end developer also.
Awesome. Awesome. I think, yeah, another point is like whenever you create projects, it's good to deploy it somewhere, right? Deploy those projects and showcase in your resume, right? That's a very interesting and, very exciting point for someone who is viewing your resume. It creates a very good impression that, apart from actually coding in front end, you also know how to deploy things, right? Because when you deploy it, there comes another part of learning, which is required when you work in a company. You will have to work on servers when you write front end. You might get a chance to kind of deploy, a little bit of apps. Cool. Another interesting question. If you know about functional component, but in internship, you got to know that, people are using class based. What do you guys do in that situation? Yeah. Anyone ever faced this situation, first of all? And then,
Uh, I haven't faced that situation, but I believe you should ask your mentor who's ever uh, taking your meetings and all. He will definitely help you in the learning phase, that the shifting from functional to component based, and those aren't that much of difference.
yeah,
There isn't that much of difference. You can easily learn it in a day or two.
awesome.
Just to add on to that, since React introduced functional components, there have been lots and lots of documentations with differences between the two. How if it works like this in the class component, how it will work in the functional component. So React is kind of a library which has extensive documentation. So I'd say it won't be much of an issue if you already know how stuff works in the functional component. It will be difficult to translate it into class-based components.
Awesome. Interesting insights. Aman, you have something?
No, I think both have covered everything. Like,
Okay. Cool, guys. I think there are no more questions. So it's really a very lovely session that we had. I know it's almost 50 minutes. So I would like to thank all of you for being a really good guest and knowledge that you guys have to a lot of people who are looking for guidance. So thanks a lot again, and we hope to conduct sessions like this in future too. Thank you.